Alright, welcome back everybody. Today you're going to see me tear down my SH 0.28 P3 motor off my Monsoon XTR truggy. The reason I'm tearing it down is, I don't know if you can see that, I'm just barely turning that flywheel. I ain't got to put no pressure on it at all. And it feels like it's lost pinch or combustion. So we're going to tear it down. I'm going to check the sleeve and the piston in the motor. I'm going to clean it up while I got it apart. And you're going to see me show you how to tear this down. And you may see me do some upgrades to it as well. We'll see once I get it apart. Anyhow, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop this air cleaner off. We're going to put it back here. And now I have a, I believe it's 2.5 Allen wrench. I'm going to go ahead, go down through the top of the head here. There's 4 bolts, four of them here in the top of the head. Now, I recommend taking them apart like you do if you put them on. If I'm going to take this one out, I want to go straight across, take this one out, and then come back and do this one and that one. When you tighten them up, you want to do the same thing so that head goes down evenly, seals evenly. If you go from here to here, you get where it gets it cockeyed at an angle. It may not have a proper seal. They say when you tighten it down to go here to this one, to this screw, across from one another. Now, since they say to do that, you know, when you put it together, I recommend doing the same thing. You probably don't have to, but I recommend doing the same thing when you take it apart. Alright, I got those 4 screws loosened on the top of the cooling head here. As you'll see, it'll come right off. And it's a little dirty there, so it'll get wiped down. I'll probably go clean this before I put it back together. I will do a video someday on how to clean them with degreaser, but that'll be when I tear this completely down. I may pull the bearings out of it and do a complete clean on the motor. I'll show you how to do that when I get to that process, that time. I still have to get some degreaser to do so, and I may get some grease to repack the crank bearings and that. But like I said, that'll be a different video another day. Here's the 4 screws out of the cooling head. Put them up here. Now you got this is actually your cylinder head, a cap. And it may come right off. Yep, that one will. Sometimes you may have to take your little flathead and just kind of barely work it. This one comes off pretty easy. Now there's a head gasket, copper gasket right there. Careful with that. Put those all right there. Now you can see down in the motor here, there's your piston, there's your sleeve. Wipe that off a little bit so I don't get no dirt in it. There we go. And even though I got the head and the glow plug off, this still feels about the same, so I'm thinking I lost pinch in that cylinder. And anyhow, next step. This is your starter bolt. We're going to pull it out there. I got 4 bolts here, and I'll do them the same way. Wipe that off. It's a 2.5, and they recommend when you tighten these up, you go from this one to this bolt, to this bolt, to this bolt, across from one another as well, so that gets a good seal and don't go on crooked. And one of the things I like to do, like I mentioned on the head, is to take it apart the same way. So we'll do that real quick. Oh, I got one that's gonna give me problems. Okay, I do got one bolt here. It's gonna give me problems. I'm gonna try a different Allen wrench on it. One that ain't as worn out. Hopefully that'll get it. may not. I'll grab my pliers. There we go. My good Allen wrench, it fits these good. The end of it broke, so I have to use a pair of pliers. I got me a set of good hex wrenches on the way. I recommend you get a good set of hex drivers before you even try working on these. I use Allen wrenches like this. This is what I got right now. Honestly, I don't recommend these. You will strip the heads out. You don't get a good hard push on them when you go to break them loose. The way they're designed, you may not be straight on the nut. You can be angled, and it'll cause your heads to strip on your screws. But anyhow, we're gonna pull the back cover here off. There's the one-way bearing, and there's a bearing in there as well. I'm not gonna take all that apart today. And now you can see there's my rod, the crank. If you look through the exhaust here, you can see the piston. See it go up and down. I'm gonna show you a way you can remove that sleeve if you can't get in there and just push it up. That one I can't. What I do is I use zip tie. Let's try one. These ones may not do it. You may need a thicker one, but I got this one right here. Yep, I'm gonna need a thicker zip tie. I got one right here. And what I'll do is just come in the top here, and I'll stick it out the exhaust port with the piston down, and just simply grab your flywheel there. Knock my stuff off. It's hard to grab a hold of here with these gloves. They're getting slick. But grab that flywheel and turn it, and it'll push that. I can't do it with these gloves on, it's just too slick. It'll push that sleeve right up. There you go. Wasn't even that hard. I was gonna say it should come up pretty easy. It'll push that up. Now just take the cylinder back down. Come up a little too far. There we go. Come up too far, you'll get your zip tie in there. So you want to just come up a little bit, and you should be able to grab a hold of that and pull it right out. Again, my gloves are slick. I wouldn't be wearing these, but I have to handle my GoPro. There we go. Now there's your piston sleeve right there. Now let's remove the piston. Now I recommend anytime you take this back plate off, have your piston up to the top when you remove it or take it off. Some of them have a different one-way bearing, and it calls for you to have the piston up in order for that to go in or come out and work properly. But push up a little bit and you can grab a hold of the bottom of that rod and then turn the crank back down, pull your piston out. There's the piston, the cutout groove for the intake on this one, and the connecting rod and bearing. Now to my surprise, that one actually goes in pretty tight still. To check your pinch, push your piston in it. It should not go all the way to the top. It should go up to about that far. To my surprise, this one ain't as loose as I thought it would be. Well, it is going up more if I force it. I'm not forcing it hard either. It goes up to about right there. So the pinch is a little loose on this motor. I thought it would be a lot worse than what it is. Now there is ways you can have these repinched. You can use a bar clamp, a piece of copper, and heat them up, squeeze them back. You can buy a new sleeve, new piston. You can send these in, I think, for about 25 bucks, and you can have them repinched. I don't know personally how long they'll last after repinching them. It could be on how you run the motor or re-break it in. If anybody has any comments on that or knows more about where I can get them repinched, you can leave comment in the comments below to help others out. But anyhow, there's your piston and your sleeves. I'm gonna go ahead and clean what I got up. I do know I got a little bit of pinch missing in that cylinder. It should not go up as high as it does. Motor's turning over too easy. Honestly, I'd probably say I need a new sleeve and I need to replace the piston for this motor. Anyhow, there's a quick take apart of the SH28. If you have problems with your compression in your motor, you believe your sleeves wore out or the pistons wore out, there's a quick clip on how to take it apart to that point. Now I will be sometime taking the crank out of this motor, where I'll take the clutch bell, the flywheel off, pull the crank out, and re-grease these bearings or put new bearings in depending on how they look. I'm going to pull it apart. Well, I got it apart. I'm going to completely clean it. I'll show you how to degrease them and do that. We'll put new bearings in it, and this motor probably will be rebuilt, and that'll be a video as well. I'll get all the parts I need to rebuild this, then that's when we'll do that. I'll show you also how to take the carburetor off and clean the carburetor. Until then, keep racing, keep it nitro, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button up there and that little bell beside it so you get notifications when I do my latest videos. And appreciate y'all for watching.